Give me 19 minutes and your soul will love again. We're talking about healing the trauma of the past with love, but there's just one problem. No one ever taught us how. You would be surprised at how many people I meet who cannot summon love on command, who cannot get the feeling of love within their body, have it circulating within their body on command. It's like somewhere along the way, we make love exclusive. It becomes just for family members, just for relatives, just for close friends. But the problem is that even our friends, family, every single person that we're directing love toward, even they have to be treating us just right in order for us to actually access and call forward that feeling. So if love is so far removed from us in our day-to-day life, how then can we live by love and allow it to heal our past, present, and future? It's an issue. It's an issue because if we cannot love, if we cannot summon its energy, that means we cannot allow it to direct us, which means that even if we manage through therapy or some other modality to work through our issues of the past, we have no assurance that once the next painful event happens, the next traumatic event happens, we'll have no assurance that we have our path forward. We talk about healing from trauma, but the problem is that we really don't have a systematic way to do that ourselves. And so tonight is our night to change that. Because if you're one of those people who has a difficult time tuning into the frequency of love, and by love, I mean the end of separation, if you're one of those people who has a difficult time summoning the energy of love within your physical being and allowing it to direct your course, tonight's show is for you. Because when people say that God is love, that's not just a cool slogan. It's the truth. And so if we got the kind of love that comes and goes, that means we got the kind of relationship with God that comes and goes. So I'm talking about, when I say God, I'm talking about the basic basis of reality, the fabric of reality. And if we got the kind of relationship with reality that comes and goes, that would by definition make us delusional. We don't want to do that. So you understand that when we talk about healing the trauma of the past, we're talking about so much more than just moving on from what has happened. We're talking about stepping into destiny fully, stepping into divine heritage fully, stepping into transformation fully for those who have felt so separate from love. Let's allow tonight to be the first step. And so, if you're ready to live free beyond fear, welcome here. I'm Dr. Shawn, and I believe you do not need years to heal. You just need one real breakthrough. That's why I invented transcendent psychology, and I tested in the real world on real people on my game show, Countdown to Breakthrough, the only game show that heals your soul. We're talking about not knowing how to heal the trauma of the past because we're disconnected from the source of all healing. That source of all healing we simply call love. I want to show you a clip, Countdown to Breakthrough, that's actually going to set up our conversation. Let's go ahead and jump to that right now.
I'm testing a new mind game on love and light on strangers in Atlanta. I have just 7 minutes to heal these players' relationships in broad daylight. But the stakes are even higher because in a world that thinks that love is just an emotion, if I can't help these players discover their highest capacity for transformation, they may never get another chance. Maybe that's why I'm nervous about today. Because today's mind game is so intimate, it will ask more of me than any other mind game before. Feeling my heart tremble, I take a moment before the day starts. Today's particular challenge is making sure that we walk in the love we're trying to get people in touch of. want to be able to walk in the love that we're trying to get people to taste for themselves. And knowing that when we do, the fear, the trepidation, the anxiety, all that stuff fades and recedes. And to walk it, to live it, and to stay in it is the gift of today. And also its challenge. And so as we go and move and find people, we need to make sure that we keep that in mind. Matter of fact, there goes a person right there.
Okay, there we are. It was that moment for me, right? We're hitting the streets. We got the, we got the cameras out, and we're racing through, and trying to sell people on why they should stop and take a moment to be on this show. And you know, I had never done any sort of street therapy before, you know what I'm saying? And so it was like the only way that this is going to work is if I can access this divine dimension and walk with it. It's the only way that people would even be able to resonate with me. But you can't play with it. You can't act your way through the frequency of love. You can't pretend with this. And I think a lot of time we throw around the word love, and it's really like we're not being honest about what it is. Not really surrendering to that deeper dimension. And so when life's inevitable challenges arrive at our doorstep, somehow we're unprepared because we forgot the armament of God. We forgot the ultimate solution. And the ultimate solution is a frequency. One of the beautiful things about going on the street and doing this work is immediately you will be able to tell if you are in frequency or out of it. The beautiful part is that once you can access this dimension of love, it's timeless, which means that you can use it to process, to heal old memories, old relationships, old patterns of thinking, old patterns of feeling. That once we understand that love is an energy source, a sacred energy source that we can actually connect with and allow it to flow through us, all of a sudden it changes everything. I have a odd relationship with people who talk about, they people will say words like, love. They'll say phrases like love is the highest frequency. And on one level, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's such a sacred reminder. And on another level, I'm kind of like, what you mean when you say love, though? See, because if we are talking about anything other than the real deal, I don't need it. I want the real deal. How do people in our culture talk? People, you will literally hear people say, what's love got to do with paying the bills? Love's got to do with everything. And when we move with that love, I'm telling you, our relationship with the past completely changes. And so, I like teaching from principles. So let's get to it. When we talk about love, I believe it's important to have our definitions clear. When I say love, I'm talking about oneness. I'm talking about the end of separation. And so, what do we need to know? We need to know that love is the natural state of the soul. I'll never forget this. This is a circle. If you ever heard the phrase that the circle itself, let me see if I can make sure I get this out the light, that the circle itself represents no beginning, no ending. It's continuous. It is eternity itself. Behold the soul. What I'm telling you is that when I say love is oneness, I'm saying that love is the natural state of the soul. It's the natural state of who you are. We need to understand that one principle, that love is the natural state of who you are. And so we only stop feeling love when the soul goes into protection mode, when there is a split, what we call when there is separation. The sense that this side is me and this other side is not me. Once I define certain things as me and other things as not me, now I have to go on the defense. The very fact that I've divided myself psychologically and often psychosomatically, which is to say, I feel separate from everything else in existence. Once that happens, now I have something to protect. There's a little me. I put this in quotes. There's a little tiny me that I now have to protect from hostile invaders. The problem is that this doesn't start when you're 30. It starts when you're 3. If the appropriate protocols are not put in place, if the appropriate explanations are not put in place as to the nature of reality. Now, who you know teaching 3-year-olds that they are the full totality, the full context of experience, not just a small part of it. Sure, the 3-year-old does need to develop a certain ego that can help it avoid fires and furnaces and different things, right? We understand that. But what happens is that we fail to teach the 3-year-old at any time, once they know not to touch the fire, that it is actually okay to touch the fire of the soul and to burn up your delusions in it. That's the part we somehow ain't teaching. Forget the 3-year-old, the 30-year-old. And so the principle is that the soul now needs the soul, which is the total, the totality, love being the full nature of the soul now needs protection when the soul gets into separation. So we lose touch. This notion of separation is the reason that we lose touch with reality in the first place, lose touch with the fabric of existence in the first place, lose touch with love in the first place. So once you lose touch with love, how are you going to redeploy or use love later in order to heal yourself? It would be impossible. It would frankly be impossible. So our principle is this, that love is the original nature of the soul. So the principle is that love is the original nature of the soul. What's the pattern? What's the pattern we're experiencing here? Love is the original nature of the soul, but the pattern is that separation. The pattern is that separation made you forget. Love is the original nature of the soul. That is our principle. But the pattern, the reason that recalling love on command is such an issue, the reason that people have no way or no idea as to how to actually heal from their own past is because this sense of separation, which made the past a problem in the first place, also made you forget original nature. That's the pattern. That once you have separation, once you have a me and a not me, once you saying they not like us, oh, I know it's culturally meaningful. I love K Dot too. But once you say they not like us, you've made a distinction between the you, the they, the me, the not me. You have that separation again. And though it may build you an alliance in the short term, and alliances are necessary, that's wonderful. Alliances are necessary at a relativistic human plane of existence. But is it worth dwelling in illusion forever? I like a great alliance too, but I also want to understand that the alliance, the tribe that I'm building, the so-called enemies that I have are but variations of myself. If I do not remember that, then guess what? I create separation. The separation makes me forget love, and guess who suffers? Maybe them, but definitely me. That's an issue because now we're removed from the original nature of the soul. You've lost touch with yourself. Why? Because you've forgotten. Why? Because you created the separation. Are you understanding the principle and the pattern? Okay, so we're understanding the principle and the pattern. The question now is, what's the path forward? What's the path forward? So as I erase this joint, we need to understand what that path forward is. So here we go. Behold the soul and understand that we can actually collapse separation by retraining the spirit to see love everywhere. We can actually collapse separation by retraining the spirit, consciousness, our independent or seemingly independent focal point of consciousness, our attention, by learning to see love everywhere. By taking love, which we understand to be complete, and instead of having this moment of separation, which is created based on the meaning we are giving to seemingly external phenomena, we can actually retrain our spirit to enter back into this world of me and not me. And just by adjusting the way that we look, just adjusting the way that we perceive reality itself, we can allow this entire field of separation to dissolve back into the totalizing experience of love. We can re-achieve a unity of experience, return to oneness, return to God. That is what this is. This outer layer is the reabsorption of human consciousness back into the divine unified field of love.